Guys, you knew this was coming. You knew I was going to have to talk about this today. It is the biggest news we have had, in my opinion, in regards to media and entertainment all year. Yes, bigger than Joker, bigger than Endgame. I know Endgame is more liked right now than Star Wars. But Star Wars just has that appeal, man. At least to me, something that Endgame and Marvel will never have. Star Wars just has that allure, that magical fantasy element that Marvel will never have for me. But it came out, and I watched it live when they presented it, and it's a good thing I did because it also changed my opinion on the film. Because there was one of my favorite moment in the trailer. I was like, "What?" And then after it first showed, they kind of affirmed it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's real," and it got me really excited. And anyways, if you haven't watched the trailer yet, watch it. So what did I think about the trailer overall? Well, if you know, the first scene is Rey doing that flip over Kylo Ren's TIE fighter. And from what I've heard, people are calling it the Rey tricks, Rey loaded, because it looks like a Matrix move. Which I'm like, hey, you can't have a good sci-fi franchise put into this garbage tier, terrible trilogy. Ugh. Anyways, what I thought about it overall, most of it was pretty meh. Lando was pretty nice to see, obviously. The most exciting part for me was hearing Palpatine's laugh at the very end. That just gave me chills. I actually got hyped, and then when I saw it live and McDiarmid came out on stage and he was like, "Reel it again," in his Palpatine voice, and I was just like, I was flipping out. I was like, "Dude, this is awesome." I was legit flipping because everyone knows, if you've watched the prequels, Palpatine is the best character in those movies. Some would even say that it's not. Those are not Anakin's movies. Those are Palpatine's movies. He is so good. So the fact that Palpatine is going to be in this, and if he is in a good portion of it, and they give him good dialogue, and of course we all know that Ian McDiarmid gives a fantastic performance whenever he does Palpatine, I could see this movie being the best one in the trilogy already, just from the fact that Palpatine's in it, at least in my opinion. Of course, it's going to automatically be better than The Last Jedi. One, Rian Johnson isn't attached to it. Number two, they're actually trying to appease the fans. And three, Ian McDiarmid, Palpatine. Boom. All good. And the possibility of Luke Skywalker actually being in the movie and not Jake Skywalker. So we already got some good news. But I think, because the more I thought about it, people were like, it's not a good thing Palpatine's coming back. It's kind of like retconning Darth Vader, and they're just destroying George Lucas's vision for the saga. And at first I was like, you know what, you're right. And then I started thinking about it. But George Lucas signed off on EU books and agreed and allowed it to be canon. And some of the EU books he did allowed Palpatine to come back in clone form. And I know it's a very subjective opinion if you think that's a good thing or not. In my opinion, as a kid, when I first heard about it, I thought it was really cool. I kind of like the idea of Palpatine coming back in clone form and this evil that you just can't defeat. This malevolence that's nigh impenetrable, really. No matter what you try to do, it will come back to haunt you. And that, I believe, he also turned Luke to the dark side for a little bit, which I thought was really cool, that even the strongest can fall, but Luke comes back, obviously. So he can fall, but he can come back. Gosh, it's just... So with that, I'm not... When I started thinking about it, because I watched it this afternoon, obviously when it first came out around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've had time to think about it at work, because it was the only thing I thought about at work today. And so Yeah, that's what I thought about Palpatine. In regards to the whole movie overall, I was really upset. Obviously, I hate The Last Jedi. I'm pretty sure most of you do as well, or at least strongly dislike it or find it problematic. Um, and the thing is that I don't want to hate the sequel trilogy. A lot of people might be like, "Oh, you're a sequel trilogy hater. You just hate on Disney Star Wars." The fact is that actually I really don't want to. I really want to like it. I love Star Wars. Are you kidding me? I remember growing up as a kid, delve deep in Star Wars when it was coming out. I remember being a kid when Force Unleashed came out, when Knights of the Old Republic came out. I was old enough. Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. I mean, I remember this stuff. I remember when it would come out and I would be flipping the fuck out, excited. Just, oh, give me that controller. I want to play the Star Wars game. Oh, give me that book. I want to read about Star Wars. Put in the movie. I want to watch Star Wars. Are you kidding me? I know what it's like to live in a time where Star Wars is phenomenal and the lore is great. And of course, it was all signed off by George Lucas. So obviously, the lore had to be great. And it was deep and it was powerful. And so, believe me, I want to like this stuff. I think that they are focusing too much on the wrong things. If you watch the panel, you will know that J.J. Abrams only talked about, oh, see, we're using special effects. We're using real stuff, not CGI mostly. It's like, dude, we just want good stories. There are people out there, myself included, saying we prefer the overly used CGI of the prequels because at least there was story, there was lore, there was some character development. You ain't having any of this. Rey's not growing in character personality, there's no arc. Kylo Ren has maybe a little, Poe has none, Finn has none, no one has anything. Finn had the beginnings of one, and then it just kind of went blech. Poe didn't have one. Rey didn't have one. The only person who did was kind of Kylo Ren and kind of Finn at the beginning. And after that, everyone's just been the same. No one's gone through hell and hardship and troubles and come out the other end better. They've kind of just been like, oh, whoops, we're going here now. And it's just, as a Star Wars fan, it's annoying. So I don't hate on these movies on the sense that I just hate Disney. I want to like these movies, but I just can't because they're god-awful. Now, if this movie, what I'm having to say is this. The Last Jedi will most likely always be the worst Star Wars film because of what they did to Luke Skywalker, the lore, the Force, everything. And we will not have a movie, no matter how hard JJ was to try, we probably would not have a worse film than The Last Jedi. Unless he somehow was able to retcon stuff in the prequels, which I could understand that if they did that, as well as the original, I could see them being on the same. Anyways. So, if Episode 9 can give us a good, entertaining story, good lore, excellent Emperor Palpatine scenes, I am willing to say that the film is the best in the sequel trilogy. I am not going to say that it is the best or even close to being in the top 5 best Star Wars films. Hell no. The prequels and the originals will be in the top 6 forever. The sequels will never get there. Sorry. Just my personal opinion. Now, do I want you to boycott this movie? No. But if you feel like you need to, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to persuade you to not do so. I'm going to have to still see another trailer to decide whether or not if I should. If they can give me a little bit of footage of Palpatine, if so that I can see if it's a hologram recording or something, or if it's like really him, then I will be more than. If it's really him, my nostalgia. Because, I haven't been bought into the nostalgia with these movies because I grew up on prequels. I didn't grow up on the originals. But I do love the originals. I grew up on prequels, though. That's the nostalgia for me. So with Palpatine back, that's prequel nostalgia. So now I'm like, man, that's my nostalgia pulling because I want to see more Emperor Palpatine. He was so badass in those movies, especially Episode 3, which is my favorite film. So we'll just have to see. Trailer wise, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5, or a 7.5 out of 10. It was beautifully shot. Hey, by the way, what's up with the fact that R2-D2's not in this movie anymore? They had BB-8 and that other dumbass droid, but in C-3PO, it's like R2-D2 should be the one. Throw out BB-8, put R2-D2 and C-3PO. They are supposed to be the ones in every single film. That's just the thing you should do. They're like the Stan Lee of Star Wars. You need to have a cameo of them in every movie. They need to be in it because you can forever, Anyways, tell me what you guys thought about the trailer in the comment section below. If you like the video, please do like it. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.